Coming up, former Ipswich Mayor Paul Pisasale pleads guilty to multiple charges. Councillor Marnie Doyle withdraws her resignation as Deputy Mayor 6 days after doing so in writing. Swifts pull the pin on buying council-owned premises in Cameron Park. And what is the right price to attend this year's Christmas Wonderland? It's Thursday, September 24, 2020, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today, which acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. The biggest news in Ipswich today, and possibly this year, has been the revelation that former Mayor Paul Pisasale has pleaded guilty to several charges, including perverting the course of justice and sexual assault. This comes long after a theatrical resignation in June 2017. Media reports today, September 24, detailed Pisasale pleaded guilty to 27 counts of fraud and 1 count each of receipt of a secret commission by an agent, fraud of property and perjury. Media further reported the disgraced mayor gave an emotional apology before the court. Pisasale is reported to have said his mind took over and his behaviour was out of control. He added that people around him tried to talk to him, but he would not listen. As a former media advisor to council, which included the office of the mayor, I can add that the whole episode has left an incredible sense of disappointment, not only for council employees who worked closely with him, but council more broadly and residents as well. It is fair to say everyone was left shocked and hurt following his arrest and the charges laid. With this significant line in the sand, the new council deserves fresh air and time to establish itself going forward. Ipswich City Council and the community must remain ever vigilant. Now to today's council meeting, which began by dealing with the resignation letter from Councillor Marnie Doyle, which stated she was resigning from the Deputy Mayor position effective Wednesday the 23rd of September. Resignations happen from time to time, so this is not unusual in itself. The letter was written by Councillor Doyle on September 17, with the media breaking the story on September 22. Council issued information well after the resignation letter date. Last night, Wednesday the 23rd, Council issued a further media release advising Councillor Doyle had retracted the Deputy Mayor resignation letter and will remain in the role for the original 12 months as voted by councillors in April. The actions of Councillor Doyle may indicate things have been tense behind the scenes. And while the withdrawal of the resignation may well be satisfactory and a tidy result for councillors, there are still unanswered questions for residents. What really prompted Marnie Doyle to resign from the Deputy Mayor's post? And why didn't Council issue its own news on the same day as the resignation? Mayor Teresa Harding was approached for an interview for this episode but has declined. Councillor Doyle was also approached, but at time of recording, no response has been received. Today's council meeting addressed the issue at the beginning of the meeting. Mayor Teresa Harding.
So in relation to the matter regarding the appointment of Deputy Mayor, I'm really pleased to share that we no longer are required to consider that matter. I think it's important to put the matter to rest and to just say to our community that we are a learning council. We are a genuine representation of the community in that before being elected, we were just like you. We were small business owners, we were workers, we were mothers and fathers and grandparents, and very passionate about our community. And we're still all of those things, and we are still learning. As a council, we share a vision to rebuild a strong and trusted council, and we'll continue to work every day to do that. We won't always be perfect, but we will be honest. We're not going to get it 100% right 100% of the time, but we'll work every day to improve this city and this council. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Doyle, the Deputy Mayor, for her contribution as she is made as a councillor and as a leader of this organisation over the past 5 months. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing to work together along with the councillors to keep delivering outcomes for the people of Ipswich. With that, I'd like to move on to the next agenda item.
A procedural motion was put and voted on that the item to elect Deputy Mayor not be considered. And with that, there was no further discussion and the meeting moved on to other business on the agenda. Council-run Christmas events will look quite different this year owing to COVID. Chair of the Community Culture, Arts and Sport Committee, Councillor Andrew Fechner.
I bring this to the attention of full council to clear up a couple of things and highlight a couple of the wonderful things that will be happening in Ipswich this festive season. So the events team have been working very hard to piece together a Christmas program that's celebratory but also COVID safe, and I acknowledge how difficult that can actually be. I'm sure that everyone here has read the report and they've seen that we've got the lights in the Narromah Garden. Santa will be getting around on the bus. There's Christmas carols, so it's very much a time for us to come together. And after the tumultuous year that a lot of us have had, I think that it's important that Ipswich City Council does provide something something special for us at Christmas time. So I just want to thank the council officers involved in putting together this wonderful program of Christmas events, and acknowledge the creativity that they had to display to make sure that they were COVID safe events and that we had a chance to celebrate at the end of this year. One of my recommendations was to consider the ticketing cost for the Winter Wonderland. So the proceeds of that will be going to charity. But at committee last week, I wasn't prepared to commit to a price. The recommendation there reads that we would bring it to a workshop for further consideration. However, I'm prepared to amend that recommendation and resolve the ticket price here today, so that the team can move on if the full council is prepared to have that particular discussion about the ticket price of the Winter Wonderland.
Lengthy discussion by councillors followed. Council's Manager of Marketing and Promotions, Carly Gregory, was quizzed in the meeting about Christmas events. Mayor Harding.
What kind of, just leading on what Deputy Mayor said, but leading on what kind of options can we have if we're looking, would there be low attendance nights?
There was really,
with disabilities
no low attendance nights. So for us, it's really, thousands of people through every night last year, and we would have thought that, there would be lower attendance nights midweek, but actually what tended to happen was families would often try to come midweek thinking that the weekends would be busy, or bringing, elderly relatives and that kind of thing. So it is quite difficult, given that we've probably got a third of the attendees this year available to come, compared to last year. So I think that would be very difficult to guarantee that. We did talk about, though, on the preview night, having different sessions and allowing different community groups, volunteers, maybe people with disabilities, approaching those kind of groups in the community, so that we can accommodate longer viewing times with potentially additional volunteers to assist those people to get around Wonderland. So that would be, I think, the most relevant way that we can assist those kind of groups.
When it comes to the family ticket price for up to 5 people, in your opinion, are you wedded either way as to the $15 to $20
We're not wedded
price?
either way.
Do you think it'll make a difference?
Look, I think price is always something that will make a difference to certain groups. So I think we need to be mindful of that. We felt, though, compared to other activities, whether you're going to the movies or, even things that they have like at the Tivoli Drive-In that are considered low cost, we felt that $15 or $20 was still incredibly cost effective at that time of year. So, we're happy to take your guidance on this. We're not wedded to either price. So 15 or 20 would be fine, I think.
Councillor Andrew Fechner.
If I were a group of 4 and the ticket price were 15 for a family, I'd probably purchase the family ticket. Is that automatically associated with the number 5, or will you have a number of people within?
We have actually, with our ticket providers, just finished an additional briefing note for the Mayor and councillors this morning, where the ticketing provider, the other option would be to split the price and have a family of 4 for 15 and a family of 5 for 20, say, so that we're not wasting any of those tickets, that people would select the number that they require. Yep. So that is an option. We apologise it took a few days, but it is challenging to find a provider that can do all of this with literally 100 allocations of, sessions to Wonderland.
Councillors ultimately approved ticket prices for Christmas Wonderland at $5 per person, $15 for a family of 4 and $20 for a family of 5. The net amount of money raised through ticketing will be donated to a nominated charity or charities. The ongoing saga over the future of Swifts in Cameron Park came to a sudden end in the same council meeting after the club sent a letter to council on September 14 withdrawing from the planned purchase of the building they currently lease. From the meeting, Property Services Manager Brett McGrath.
So following the previous council decision, we drafted a community consultation scope and plan, which we provided with Swifts and sat down and ran through that with the advising of their requirements and responsibilities as part of the community consultation process. And following that, they formally advised us on the 14th of September that they didn't want to proceed with the purchase of the facility. Deputy
Mayor and local councillor Marnie Doyle.
I guess I have mixed views on the outcome here. The feedback consultation questions I fielded from the community included several families who've been involved with the club for years and currently have children playing there. And I recall, it stuck in my mind, one of the comments was, we just want what the other clubs have, which is a clubhouse. And that really resonated with me. I'm an Ipswich girl and grew up having a lot to do with both North and West End, so I know the importance of having their own club. So I was very motivated, I guess, to see all parties explore all options here. And obviously, what was also important to me was the views and concerns of council effectiveness and my residents living around that area. And the feedback I got from residents seemed to be that they have lived with the Swifts operating from the current footprint for quite some time, and business as usual, I guess, wasn't a problem for them going forward. However, it became very clear there was no appetite and no tolerance by the community for council to potentially sell off a bigger footprint than what Swifts currently occupy, and absolutely the community were outraged by us potentially carving off some green space from the park and adding that to the area that Swifts were looking for. I can only guess at the reasons why Swifts have now decided to not proceed with the purchase. If I make the assumption that it's because it's only the existing footprint that has been offered to them and not the additional land, then in my view council has done all it can, in particular and importantly for the families involved that were looking for that club. But obviously a good outcome for residents, selling off green space. That's a well-used park.
Council repealed its previous decision on the sale and issued a statement which said it expended a substantial amount of resources over a 2-year period in the management of this matter with Swifts Leagues Club Limited. Additionally, there have been costs associated with required third-party services such as valuation assessments and drafting survey plans. The decision not to proceed with community consultation was endorsed at the council meeting. The full meeting can be viewed on YouTube. In a future podcast, naming of places and spaces in Ipswich CBD, including the formalising of the name Bottle Alley. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is also listener-supported. If you like what you hear, please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Just go to ipswichtoday.com.au and click the donate button at the bottom of the page. You can subscribe for free and share this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio, or play Ipswich Today from your smart speaker. Music is supplied by Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thanks for listening.